What is Ethereum? Ethereum description for newbies. Even if you are not very familiar with the world of cryptocurrencies, you have probably heard at some point of Ether, the most famous cryptocurrency after Bitcoin. Ethereum, the platform to which Ether belongs, changed the type of uses that can be given to blockchain technology forever. It is much more than a money transfer system. Ethereum is a platform on which you can build smart contracts and decentralized applications called dApps. Before we can talk about Ethereum 2.0, we have to talk a little bit about Ethereum as such. So what is Ethereum? The description we can find on the official website says the following: Ethereum is a global open source platform for decentralized applications. There are thousands of games, coin exchanges and all kinds of financial applications running on the Ethereum blockchain. To mention some of its applications, Ethereum, of course, is not the only blockchain platform for smart contracts. Over the years, several competitors have emerged, such as Tron, Cardano, and many others, that have tried to leverage Ethereum's successful model while overcoming some of its disadvantages and limitations. However, Ethereum is still the most popular smart contract blockchain in the world, and almost half of the top 100 cryptocurrencies run using Ethereum's platform. Ethereum is not perfect and has its shortcomings, the most significant being its limited lower scalability. It is only capable of facilitating approximately 15 transactions per second. Some applications have pushed the platform to its limits. In December 2017, for example, the CryptoKitties application is a kind of game where users could collect and trade digital kitties for speculative purposes, pushed Ethereum to its limits. During that time, transaction costs skyrocketed and many transactions never came in. The reason for the congestion in the network is that every action in the game required a transaction on the blockchain. The popularity of kittens has since declined, but today another industry has emerged that threatens to saturate the Ethereum DeFi network, also known as decentralized finance. This is a series of dApps, of which Compound Finance and Uniswap are the most famous, that offer traditional banking products using blockchain technology without the need for banks. Users can send and receive Ether and other currencies such as DAI and USDC. Loans can also be made with determined interests, and all that thanks to the automatic execution of smart contracts within the Ethereum network. Many transactions that previously needed banks as intermediaries can be done 100% within the platform. The goal of DeFi is to make banks irrelevant and offer all kinds of financial services to the billions of people who do not have access to a bank account, or simply provide an alternative to all those who do not trust banks. The uses that can be given to intelligent contracts are practically infinite, and paradoxically it has been this financial revolution that has brought Ethereum to its limits. That is why its developers have seen the need for an update of the protocol, similar to when you update your operating system. Ethereum 2.0 is just that, an update to Ethereum that will significantly change the way it works, and also aims to solve the scalability problem by making Ethereum capable of supporting the tremendous workload of all these smart contracts. The changes within protocols are pretty technical and will be mentioned in a very simplified way what they consist of and, above all, what their purpose is. The most significant change that Ethereum 2.0 is that it will introduce a transition in the mechanism of validation of transactions, so far inferior in a more or less similar way to Bitcoin, has used what is known as proof of work. The different blocks of the transaction are validated and added to the blockchain by the so-called miners, specialized computers that consume a lot of energy and seek to solve a cryptographic problem to add a block to the chain. Miners compete with each other and thus ensure the security of the network. The high cost of the equipment needed for mining and a large amount of energy required, work as incentives to ensure the honesty of the miners and thus ensure the network. The cost of just trying to corrupt the network would be enormous. Ethereum seeks to overcome this paradigm by introducing what is known as proof of stake, which translates as proof of stake, proof of stake is a different way of validating transactions and thus achieving a consensus in the network. Here there are no longer miners under the new philosophy, there are transaction validators who must commit a certain amount of ether, which is called participation, hence its name. The participation that has been established currently. These 32 Ether validators use their participation as a guarantee of their honesty in the system before being able to verify transactions, that is, commit capital. These validators are selected when proposing a block according to their participation in the cryptocurrency and the time they have been investing in it. Since there is no more mining, validators are rewarded through commissions. A validator does not need highly specialized equipment as in mining, since at least in theory almost from any computer you can validate transactions. In short, we can say that the energetic effort required for proof of work is replaced by a system of economic incentives. Validators no longer have to solve a specific cryptographic problem and invest a lot of money in specialized equipment, but rather commit a part of their funds. Another significant change is the introduction of the so-called beacon chain. In a very simplified way, we can imagine it as a second layer. Individual blockchains are running in parallel with the leading network, and the fragment chains are nodes of information that do not include the entire database. This should make the blockchain more efficient because each node will not need to store and process the whole transaction history of the network. The purpose of this second layer is to coordinate the main anchor chain with those fragment chains. The idea is that those fragments can take part of the burden of validating and adding new blocks to the chain, and the beacon chain makes sure that all fragments chains are current. This way the network can process a higher number of transactions per second. The beacon chain is also in charge of managing the fragments and deciding which nodes will be validators. I know it sounds a bit complex. It is tough to reduce to words what is happening at the technical level. The important thing for us is to understand the implications of these changes. The combination of these two features will significantly increase the capacity of Ethereum and will be very important to solve the problem of scalability, and Ethereum will become a superhighway of interconnected blockchains as the Ethereum Foundation itself describes it. We will see in 2022 and 2023 how well Ethereum 2.0 works in terms of scalability and security. The latter is a value that significantly worries developers.